Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel, and today we are talking about benefits you should know when you get your first job. So when I started my first job right out of college, I graduated in May of 2020, and then I started my first job in October of 2020. So that's probably like a 4 to 5 months period gap, and going over benefits is something very new to me because when I had part-time jobs, I really didn't have that many benefits. Of course, like, you take time off, but you don't get paid when you take time off as a part-time employee. So with a full-time employee, it's definitely going to be very different because now you have different benefits you want to consider. Even when you're doing that interview process, you want to consider certain benefits when you're accepting this job offer. So if PTO is important for you, how many times off you get is important for you. If your sick leave, your paid leave, if all that is important to you, you definitely want to consider that for the company that you're looking at, and also the company you're willing to actually accept the offer. Another thing when it comes to retirement, the match. Is your employee going to match your 401k or things of that nature? So I think that's also very important to consider even when you're deciding, okay, this is right after graduation. So after graduation, I need to start paying for my student loans. Does my employer consider tuition reimbursement? Or if I want to, maybe get a master's degree, or do they provide student loan help? Maybe they'll pay $100 a month or things of that nature. So those are some things that you want to consider. And today I'm going to give you a top 5 things I would think you should consider, and then I'll give you some bonuses in the end. So first thing, when you're looking at enrolling into benefits, you want to make sure you do not miss the deadline. So each year your employer has an enrollment period, but as a new employee, you get an allotted amount of days or time. Maybe it might be 30 days or maybe it might be 2 weeks. You get a allotted amount of time that you need to enroll in your benefits. And then the next time you'll be able to enroll in your benefits is the next year and when it's that enrollment period. So normally sometimes you may be enrolled right when it's the enrollment period is coming up, but a lot of the times when you start a new company, you will have to enroll as soon as you start your job. That first day they'll give you the benefits rundown. They'll say you need to apply for these benefits by this date. And if you miss the deadline, you're out of luck and you will have to re-enroll or enroll when the next benefit cycle is. Make sure you look at the deadlines for all your benefits, when you need to enroll, and when is the important date for you to enroll. So the first benefit everyone should consider enrolling in is healthcare insurance, medical insurance, dental, vision. Now, I will say if you're starting your job right out of college, you may be 21, 22, or maybe 23, however old you are. Certain states allow you to be on your parents' insurance up until a certain age. So for me, when I started out of college, I believe I was either 22 or 23. I want to say I was 22. And I was still on my parents' insurance. And still to this day, I am still on my parents' insurance. And I'm going to ride it out until I turn 26 years old. So I was on my parents' health insurance as a 22-year-old. So I was able to opt out of medical insurance, medical, dental, and things of that nature because I was on my parents' insurance. But if that is not the case for you, you definitely want to look in medical insurance and look at what plans are best for you. What is your deductible? What is the likelihood of how many times you're going to go to the hospital, how many times you're going to go to the doctors that is outside of your annual preventative care checkup appointments? Again, if therapy is important to you, does your company's insurance plan cover your therapy appointments or things of that nature? If you need specialty doctors, what is it like for in-house or out of network. So you have in network and then you have out of network. So what are some doctor's offices that will be in network, and then what are some doctor's offices that will be out of network? And compare and contrast the costs. They should have like multiple options for you, if it's this deductible, that deductible, or this. I had like three choices that I can choose from. I did glance over it, just just to have an idea, because I do need to enroll into my medical care insurance starting in August of 2023. So that is something that I want to read over and make sure everything makes sense, the pricing looks good, and for me to prepare and put that in my budget. And you also want to consider copays. Like, if you don't want to pay copays, like what is your max that you want to pay for a copay? Now, of course, if you're married or things of that nature, of course, you can either be on your spouse's medical care insurance or your own medical care insurance. You can't be on two at the same time. So it's either one or the other, especially if you are married. Number two is retirement plan. So this is very important. I have worked for a public company, so I normally enroll into their 401k plan. And that is when you'll elect a certain amount of percentage, whether it is pre-tax or post-tax, of what you want to elect in for your retirement plan. Most employers do have that match, but you definitely want to consider, what is the match percentage? What number should I start out with? When I first started my first full-time job, I believe I started out with 4%. And then each year after that, I increase it by 2%. So 4% for my first year, 6% the second year. And of course, you're getting a raise or a bonus every year, hopefully. So as you're getting that raise or bonus, you want to make sure you're increasing your 401k and things of that nature. You can always increase it by 1% or 2%, what have you. Just make sure you check out the retirement plans and see which one you want to enroll in. You definitely do not want to enroll into a retirement plan. Now, third will be your paid time off. This is very important. These are benefits that, how many vacation times do you get? You want to understand, am I allotted this many hours when I first start, or do I have to accrue it? Am I allowed to borrow it from this year, or am I allowed to, if I want to take a trip, I start my first job in August and I want to take a trip in October and I don't have enough money, I don't have that many hours, am I allowed to borrow from my allotted 120 hours of things in that nature? Is your sick time different from your personal time off? Is your bereavement different from your sick time, or is your bereavement different from your personal time off? How would you use your sick time, bereavement time, and paid time off for vacations and things of that nature? Fourth, the most important thing I've learned is to enroll in life insurance. Okay, so this is life insurance that your company offers you. A lot of time, young adults, my age, younger, older, they do not have life insurance. Their parents may not have life insurance. Having life insurance on your job is the easiest way to get life insurance. And you can have life insurance. You can also have a secondary life insurance that you do personally through an agent. But life insurance is so important. Just anything can happen on the job. And if you don't have life insurance with your parents, or you don't have your own life insurance, that is not okay. That is where funeral expenses come up. Just the expense of, like, this life insurance is not for you. Okay, life insurance is for when you die, who is going to take care of those expenses. So with that being said, life insurance is very important for you to enroll in. It's literally only probably $1, maybe 70 cents, maybe $2 at the most. Life insurance is very inexpensive through your job because it's so many employees. But life insurance is very important. A lot of time you're not thinking about death. You're not thinking about it. But there's so many situations where things can be sudden. unexpected, maybe something happens on the job and things of that nature. Life insurance is for the people you leave behind and them having the necessary funds to pay for your funeral expenses and things of that nature. My fifth benefit to consider is disability insurance. So you have short-term disability and you have long-term disability. So short-term disability is usually once you use up all your sick time. Now for sick time, I believe is once you go a consecutive 5 days. This was for my past employer. Once you go a consecutive 5 days of using sick time, and you're sick, you will have to move to short-term disability. So if you're sick for 5 days, 5 days straight, consecutive 5 days, that sixth day will not be covered by sick time. That sixth day will be covered by short-term. Now you will be considered on short-term disability. So you would have to elect if you want, say if you're on short-term disability, maybe you need 3 weeks or 4 weeks. You have to look at your plan and stuff and see like what are the weeks. Every employer is different, but you want to make sure you look at the weeks and say, okay, I can only use 5 days of my sick time consecutively. That sixth day will be short-term disability. So there are different elections that you can elect in, whether it's 70 cents or a dollar. This stuff is still very inexpensive. Whether it's 70 cents, 80 cents, or a dollar, you will be able to elect, okay, I will still be getting paid my salary if I elect a dollar to be taken out of my paycheck every time I get paid. So I think for my job, I will be still getting paid I get paid semi-monthly. So say if I need 3 weeks off for short-term disability, I will still be getting paid my full semi-monthly salary, or that wage amount, every paycheck, because I have elected the highest amount for my short-term disability. So I believe I pay like $1, maybe $2 at the most, I want to say, for short-term disability. So on the sixth day, after I use up my sick time for those 5 days consecutive, on that sixth day, I will now be in short-term disability and I will be still able to get the same amount I get paid if I was using my sick time. So like for sick time, of course, most companies, you still get paid for sick time. So with a short-term disability, it will be able to replace your pay because you have elected to have these deductions taken from your paycheck. Now, after short-term disability, after a certain period of months or weeks, it's certain companies and employers have different weeks. So whether short-term disability, you can only be on there 8 weeks. So after 8 weeks, now you will be in long-term disability, and you will also be able to elect and see how much money you want to be taken out of your paycheck for these deductions. So you're still getting paid a sizable amount. So if you want to be paid at least, I think my employer for long-term disability, you can still get paid 100%. 90% or 70%. So 100% of course is the most. That's probably like $2. 90% is probably like $1. And then 70% is maybe 50 cents. So you can elect to see like, okay, if you say anything happens, say you get hurt on the job and now you cannot no longer use your sick time, now you have to go into short-term disability, I will still be guaranteed my paycheck and the same amount each and every time I'm supposed to get paid. So those are 5 important benefits to consider. So 1, your medical insurance, 2, your retirement plan, 3, paid time off, 4, life insurance, and 5 is your disability, short-term and long-term disability. So the bonus ones I want you to consider is a commuter plan and tuition reimbursement. So with your commuter plan, sometimes companies allot, if you commute to work 5 days a week, say if you work in the city, you commute to work 5 days a week, we can take a certain amount out of your paycheck before taxes. We could take a certain amount out of your paycheck before taxes just for you commuting. So say if you need to take the train every day, that's an expense that you have to take out once you get your paycheck, right? So if you get your paycheck semi-monthly, this is the amount of expenses I have. You will have to put in your budget your commuter expenses. So you can enroll into a commuter plan and have your company take out a set amount of money before taxes just to go to your commuter expenses. So make sure you check with your employer and see if they have this option for you. And lastly is tuition reimbursement or tuition assistance. So for tuition assistance, this is if you want to get a secondary degree, a master's, or certification. Make sure you ask your employer to see if they are able to reimburse you for these expenses. A lot of times, some employers will give you a set amount of money. They will reimburse you for up to $13,000 or up to $10,000 if you want to get your master's degree. Most of the time, you'll have to stay with that company for maybe 2 years if they reimburse you. And most of the time, you will have to pay for your tuition before they reimburse you. So they want you to pay for it first and then they'll reimburse you. And then tuition, like down payment, student loan payment assistance. So with my past employer, they were actually allocating $100 a month towards my student loan debt every month on top of what I was supposed to be paying. So you definitely want to ask your employer if they have something like this, or even like when you're going through your interview process, if these are some benefits that you would like to consider or that are important to you, make sure you're checking off the boxes for these employers and seeing, okay, they have this. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this gives you a detail and helps you for some benefits to consider as your first time job. When you get your first time job and you review the benefits, it can definitely be very daunting and scary, a scary process. Like, you do not want to go through it alone. So make sure you watch some other videos and talk with your HR representative and see if they'll help you explain the benefits to you so you're making sure that you pick the best benefits for you. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you in another one.